Eddie Murphy in Beverly Hills Cop. Ich löse den Fall auf jeden Fall.
So it's 1984, and Beverly Hills Cop has turned Eddie Murphy into Hollywood's biggest star.
Eddie Murphy as an individual is the biggest star in terms of influencing the movie right now that we have in the country. He's sold 1 out of every 3 tickets at Christmas this year. That's unbelievable.
That's amazing.
Amazingly, instead of making another movie, he spent the next year hanging out with Rick James, trying to jumpstart a half-assed music career.
It's music, it's not comedy.
It's hard to believe now, but at one time, Eddie Murphy was actually afraid of making a shitty movie.
Are you under a lot of pressure to do another movie? Because all I read about is Eddie's rejecting scripts, Eddie's accepting scripts, he's looking at scripts.
I'm just afraid. After Cop, I'm afraid to just do anything and have people going, that's it, it's over, it's no more. He's terrible, he sucks. Can you say sucks on your television? Yeah.
So, audiences would have to wait until the end of 1986 for Eddie to return to the screen.
Have you seen something you like pretty well?
There's a movie called Golden Child. You'll see something by next Christmas, probably.
Oh, that's great.
Golden Child, it's a good movie. When it comes out, run to the theater to see it.
I said,
There was something off about the Golden Child. I didn't see it until it played at the drive-in the following summer, as the bottom half of a double bill with Crocodile Dundee. I'd seen Beverly Hills Cop a bunch of times on VHS. In that movie, Eddie was funny. He was cool, he shot the bad guys, stuff got jacked up. Even at 8 years old, it was obvious to me there was a huge drop in quality between the adventures of Axel Foley and the adventures of whoever the hell Eddie is playing in The Golden Child. The movie starts out in a Tibetan monastery, where it looks like they're choosing the next Dalai Lama or something. This child is special. You might even say he's golden. Why, just look at the way he magically brings that freeze-frame parakeet back to life. Now I gotta wonder, are those other parakeets props? Or did they make their star parakeet lay next to its dead brothers and sisters? The end credits don't have one of those Humane Society seals, certifying no animals were harmed during the making of the movie, so they could have done anything. For all we know, they achieved the effect of the parakeet coming back to life by killing it for real and then running the film backwards. So Tywin Lannister shows up and kidnaps the Golden Child. According to the end credits, the Golden Child is played by J.L. Retty. I wonder what those initials stand for. Turns out, they stand for Jasmine Retty. The Golden Child is actually the Golden Girl. I guess they wanted to keep that a secret, so they credited her by her initials. The same way many women authors like J.K. Rowling and J.R.R. Tolkien use their initials to fool you into thinking they're men. Which never made much sense to me, as I figure anyone who didn't want to read a book because it was written by a woman probably isn't reading that many books to begin with. So anyway, now we cut to America and see our star, Eddie Murphy. In Beverly Hills Cop, he played an intelligent, quick-witted, street-smart sleuth. In this movie, he's playing a guy with a cool hat.
Yes, I find missing children. That's very interesting.
He's a finder of missing children. It's never clear if he's working in an official capacity, like with the police or the FBI, or if he's just an amateur enthusiast.
Listen, I'm trying to find this girl. Her name is Cheryl Mosley. She disappeared a while back.
An investigator of missing kids. That is one tough career. Think of all the children he must have found. 12-year-olds strung out on drugs, traumatized by being repeatedly raped as child prostitutes. This is a man who's walked through hell, through the layers of predators, pimps, and kiddie porn makers. He's probably been there when some 7-year-old's dismembered body was dug out of a shallow grave in the woods. He's probably tortured to madness by the kids that were just never found, which is even worse, never knowing what became of them.
Butt Pie is a sequel to a book written called Butt Cake.
With that background, you'd think he'd be a wounded man. But instead, as he's tacking up posters for a poor lost child, he's goofing off with people in the street like he's doing some kind of Jimmy Kimmel bit.
Chunky asses.
This brings us to another of the movie's problems, its PG-13 rating. Eddie Murphy can't use any of his signature profanity.
Can you be a little bit more specific?
Fuck you, Eddie! I know you! I see you on television! You're the fuck you man, right?
Instead of motherfucker, Eddie is forced to rely on the milder curse word ass.
And only a man whose ass is narrow can get down these steps. And if mine is such an ass, then I shall have it.
Problem is, he uses it so much, the movie starts to feel like there's some kind of subtext about Eddie having an ass fetish. He spends practically the entire movie talking about asses, and what he'd like to do to them.
I'll bust your ass, man. Or I'ma bust your ass. I'ma break your ass when I get out of here. I'ma paddle his ass when I'ma paddle your ass. I'ma roll your ass till it bleeds.
So some Tibetan lady comes to see Eddie, who's playing basketball with a bunch of topless young boys. Now, I know it's supposed to be noble that Eddie's character cares so much for children he's playing basketball with them like some kind of big brother. But this world has become cynical thanks to perverted television presenters and debauched priests. So it's hard to look at a grown man frolicking with a bunch of half-naked kids without getting uncomfortable. It's a sick world we live in. If this alarms you, fear not. That means only that you are still sane.
So you're the finder of lost children?
Oh, you must have saw me on television.
The lady has come to seek Eddie's help finding the missing golden girl.
A child has been kidnapped.
When?
5 days ago in northeastern Tibet.
Really? She tells him a child has been kidnapped, and he fucking laughs? Yeah, that's real hilarious. I bet he's still laughing in the next scene when the body of the missing girl is found. Was there not a way to tell this story without piling on all the violated and murdered children? Audiences came to see Eddie Murphy, not get bummed out. After realizing the Tibetan lady is following him, Eddie agrees to help her find the golden girl. She takes him to meet Lopan, and then they fight a bunch of bikers, including Michael Douglas's brother. I don't know if I've ever seen a movie where a woman was wearing a white shirt that didn't wind up getting sprayed with water. Later, Eddie meets the snake lady.
One of her ancestors was raped by a dragon.
Speaking of rape, you probably don't want to Google what this actress had to say about Roman Polanski. Well, that's enough investigating for one day. Meanwhile, the bad guys are trying to destroy the golden child. They're demonic or some shit, and killing the golden child will cause the whole world to turn into hell. Now, they can't just kill him and dump his body in an alley somewhere, like what happens to most of the kids Eddie looks for. But if they can make the child eat blood, then he won't be so holy, and they'll be able to stab him with some special dagger. So it becomes a waiting game. Like the parents of a 6-year-old who won't eat their broccoli, the bad guys make him sit up all night, figuring sooner or later, he'll get hungry and eat. All the best scenes in this movie have to do with the bad guys. There's a really great part where the golden girl uses some magic to turn a Pepsi can into a dancing man. The effect looks great. In 1986, well before the overuse of CGI, this scene was mind-blowing. Whenever I think of the golden child, this part is the first thing that comes to mind. There's also this crazy David Lynch-like dream sequence, featuring Eddie goofing off for a studio audience. I commend the director for making this scene surreal without being silly or contrived. I think this is one of the best dream sequences put on film. Yeah, it's no Rosemary's Baby, but when it comes to capturing the stream of conscious and rapid tonal shifts of dreams, it's very realistic.
The movie is Golden Child. I went to see it the other night. It's a really, I think people will be impressed with. This really looks like a big, expensive, nicely put together film.
It's a big picture.
Yeah. Tell us about it, and then we'll take a look at a clip.
It's a good movie. What's the clip?
The Golden Child made nowhere near the bank Beverly Hills Cop did. Very quickly, it turned into a punchline, the first chink in Eddie Murphy's armor. Oddly, resident Murphy hater Roger Ebert liked it an awful lot.
That's the glory of this movie. He's like Bob Hope in one of those old road adventures, wisecracking about everything. And it was really an entertaining movie. I think it's the only movie this Christmas time that's appropriate for the family.
Butt pie.
I just wish Eddie Murphy talked more and there were fewer special effects like in Ghostbusters. A mixed review from me.
Kiss my ass. Kiss my ass!
Jeez, there he goes again with the asses. You're an ass man. We get it.
And we're doing a new cop. We're shooting it now, and it's funnier than the first one already.
Guaranteed.
Yes, it's a hot movie.